Here we are, beerrecipes.org. Want to make a Scottish ale today. And there's one on this site that's awesome. It's called a Trackweir House Ale. And it's a Scottish ale all grain. This recipe is for a 10-gallon batch. And I don't have the capacity to make 10 gallons, so I scaled it down for a 5-gallon batch. And the main malt is 18 pounds of British pale malt. I don't have British pale malt, I just have 2 rows, so I just use 8 pounds of 2 row. Calls for 4 pounds of British crystal malt. I only wanted to use 1 pound of crystal 80. And it says here 2 pounds of toasted malt, homemade in the oven, 10 minutes at 350 degrees. I thought that was unusual. I heard about that, but I never tried it. But I tried it on this, and it turned out great. And it calls for 4 ounces of roasted barley in the mash out only, and 1 pound of chocolate malt in the mash out only. And I thought 1 pound of chocolate malt was a bit much, so I only used 4 ounces. And it calls for Centennial hops and Tettnagar hops. I just used 1 ounce of Northern Brewer. Now this procedure calls for collecting the first runnings without a mash out, or without a sparge. I thought that was unusual. And then at the mash out, then you would add the roasted barley and the chocolate malt. And I gotta tell you, it turned out fabulous. And that's the way I only brew now. I collect my first runnings without a mash out, and then I do the single sparge at the end for the second runnings, and I make some fantastic beer with it. So let's get our ingredients together, do a yeast starter, and we'll get started on this. Okay, let's get our grains together. This is my grain bin right here. Keeps it nice and fresh. And I just put them in a paper bag here. I got a small scale. I got this bowl, measure it out around 2 pounds at a time. I already got 6 pounds in here, so we'll just add 2 more pounds. Oops, a little much. And we got 8 pounds in here. I set aside 2 pounds for the roasting in the oven, 350 degrees for 10 minutes. So now we'll get our chocolate malt and roasted barley together. 4 ounces apiece. Let's switch bowls here, so I've got to keep them separate anyhow. Tear that out. Okay, 4 ounces of chocolate malt. And 4 ounces of roasted barley. A little more. So now we keep this separate. So we got our 8 pounds of 2 row. Our 2 pounds for the roasting in the oven, plus 1 pound of Crystal 90. Originally I wanted to use Crystal 80, but the homebrew shop didn't have it. They had Crystal 90, and it has a pronounced caramel, slight burnt, sugar, raisiny, and prunes. And it does have a fantastic flavor when I made this before. So, in with the 8 pounds of 2 row. get it all mixed up. And we're all ready to crush the grains. But first, let's roast up the 2 pounds of 2-row. I'll show you how to do that. First, get yourself some 2 long sheet pans and just evenly spread them out on both of them. Now when the oven is preheated at 350 degrees, we'll put them in, set the timer for 10 minutes, and take them out. Okay, we're preheated. Just slide them on in. Well, one's higher than the other. It don't matter. And we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes are up. Take them out, put them on some cooling racks. Just let them sit for a bit, cool off. They're just popping away like popcorn. Smells like I was baking cookies in here. Little toasted 2-row. It's going to be a fantastic flavor in the beer, trust me. Let's go to the next step. Okay, these are cooled down enough. So now all we do is put them back in the bag with our 2-row and Crystal 90. Now let's get our grains crushed. We got the 8 pounds of 2-row, 1 pound of Crystal 90, 2 pounds of the toasted malt that we roasted in the oven. And we'll crush this up right now. I just use a Corona grain mill. I just do the hand crank. I feel I have more control of the crush doing it by hand. Nice even crush all the way around. Okay, I'll crush this up and be back in a minute. Okay, I got the grains all crushed in here. Now, I'm going to have to crush the container of chocolate malt and roasted barley separately, and keep it separately because we're going to be adding this at the mash out, not in the initial mash. So let's get this done. There, all the grains are together now. Got my yeast starter ready for brew day. I'll let the yeast starter go for a couple days. But we got everything, all the prep work is done, and we're ready to roll. See you on brew day. Okay, I got 4 gallons, 165 degree water. So we'll just add our grains. time. Get them close. Oh, it smells incredible. That toasted grain I toasted in the oven. Oh, it smells fantastic. Starting to get filled up. There we go. See what the temperature is. 151. It's just fine. So I'll let this go for 70 minutes. The original recipe called for an hour and a half. I just did 70 minutes when I did it before, and it turned out fine. And I'm going to do it exactly the way I did it before because I'm going to enter this in a competition. So be back in 70 minutes. Okay, 70 minutes are up. I already did the Vorloff. Collecting the first runnings without a mash out. Color looks nice. Nice and copper. Let's test the gravity. See where we're at here. $10.77. Okay, I got my first runnings. 2.5 gallons like I thought. Now we'll add 4 gallons of 200-degree water. Now we'll add our 4 ounces of chocolate malt and 4 ounces of roasted barley. And stir it up. Ooh, smells like coffee. Okay, let this sit for 10 minutes. We'll come back and collect the second runnings. Okay, we just started boiling. Add 1 ounce of Northern Brewer hops. 60 minutes. And that's all she wrote. No aroma hops, no flavoring hops, just bittering hops.